31 Wicker Avenue. This is it.
You sure?
I'm sure.
At last. That stench of stale grease about you reminds me too much of my old job.
He obviously knows this guy from somewhere. I wonder where, though.
You worked as a waiter?
I was a chef. And not in any old kitchen. At the maximum security penitentiary on Gore Island. Can't think of a better way to do time. And how do you think I met Alphonse? Playing golf?
Alphonse?
On the subject of cooking, I know your blueberry pie had an extra something. I still don't know what.
Alphonse?
So what now? You got a plan?
Take a look around, in case there's a rear exit. I'll take the main door.
My pleasure.
Approach Boccarini's house. Come to get you, Carlo.
The fact that a criminal like him can hang up his shingle in broad daylight says a lot about Santa Esperanza.
Saw something else over here.
Someone took out sections of the fence. Odd.
Nice hat, little gnome.
Interesting taste. Been centuries since a gardener visited this house. Maybe Boccarini's business isn't going too well.
Okay, Carlo. Let's go with the door.
Boccarini? Carlo Boccarini?
Nothing of interest out back. Sorry. You better come see this, Mr. Ness.
What is it?
I don't know how to describe it.
Whoa.
Is that our man?
Boccarini.
My God.
We have to find out who did this, and why. Let's go.
You're the detective, Mr. Ness. Besides, Alphonse will want to see this. I'll be right back.
All right. I have to establish how Boccarini died. Maybe the body parts can shed some light on the motive.
Solve the murderer's investigation board. And tab takes us to the board. Probably haven't got enough information about this yet. W takes us up. And S takes us down. So I need to check the clues. See if I can find what happened there. That looks so painful.
Holy Christ, what the hell are we up against?
So there's 5 clues. Oh, I used the mouse on this bit.
His eyes were pulled clean out of their sockets. Whoever did this, it wasn't their first time. And if they committed any other murders like this, it's likely that the police found some of the bodies. I must remember to ask Alice.
They pulled his eyes out of his sockets. Ugh.
before he was killed. The buildup of blood inside his mouth speaks for itself.
I have a new clue. So they pulled out his teeth and his eyes.
Pity he won't last till Christmas, because he'd almost passed for a tree. There's no doubt the murderer took his time.
Ugh.
This isn't a cut, it's a tear. His hands were ripped off. Who has that kind of strength?
Pulled out his eyes, his teeth, his hand. Stabbed him through with God knows what else. There should be something else about, according to this. Oh. Is that a glass?
Once he got stuck in there, looks like the bottom of a glass. It's Boccherini, no doubt about that. Although the one I remember was more together.
So let's see if we can figure this out. We have to do this in order. So is this the teeth?
Boccherini's teeth were all pulled out.
They said that they did that before he was killed. So we've got the mutilation.
What looks like the bottom of a broken glass buried in Boccherini's back.
No, that's not right. So it must be this?
The murderer tore Boccherini's hands off.
Oh, yeah. So that's
Hands
part of the
ripped
mutilation.
off, teeth torn out. I guess I'll have to rule out criminal intent or a personal angle. Boccherini's eyes still haven't shown up. What if I look for whatever was used to remove them?
We need to find out what happened with his eyes. There must be something around that was used to dig out his eyes. Could be a spoon. Oh, the thought.
Takes a strong man to tear that out. Or several.
Check in here.
The blood comes from the other side of the corridor and ends next to the body. He was attacked in the other room and dragged to the hall.
So maybe...
The evidence suggests that the events began in the lounge. How did Boccherini encounter his murderer?
So we're looking for what was used to get out, to dig out his eyes, and also how he came to meet his murderer.
Whatever crushed the table must have been really heavy, or maybe it was thrown extremely hard.
Is that where the glass was? He was slammed onto the table and the glass got into his back.
A perfectly circular dint, as if someone had tried to hammer in a gigantic bolt, around 4 inches in diameter. Fingernails scratched the wood. Blood ran like water.
Let's take another look at this. We haven't found what was used to get his eyes.
I have to establish how Boccherini died.
Can I not go over to the facts bit? No? Oh, I see. Oh. Right.
What looks like the bottom of a broken glass buried in Boccherini's back.
Right, so now we need to get more details of the assault.
Two
What's
pools
this?
of blood, one on either side of the dining room table.
So the
A
table.
broken table, scratched and covered in blood.
No? Thought that might have been part of the assault.
The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall.
No.
The lamp, torn off its brackets and blocking the stairs.
Was that used in the assault? No. Okay, we need to find more clues. What? Oh, I can use that to rotate. Will this tell us the time that he was attacked
Did it
at?
break during the struggle, or was it already broken?
So what time is that? It's 5 to 10?
Blood. Blood everywhere. What kind of person takes off a wristwatch without unfastening it? Or fastens the strap again after taking it off?
Maybe a person who'd already had their hand torn off?
This was opened recently.
Can't be having a drink while you're in this.
Smells of whiskey.
Wow, there's so many different clues. But we're still looking for what was used
Glass
pull
on the
out his
floor
eyes.
indicates the window was broken from outside. There's something under there. How'd it wind up under there?
Possibly knocked out of his hand or something. Any bullets in there?
Not one round fired. It must have happened fast.
There's a knife missing.
One knife's missing. The biggest one.
Could that have been used to dig out his eyes, do you think?
What is it with Italians and olives? They lap those things up like caviar.
I like olives. I know a lot of people don't, but I really
Like
am a
true
fan.
bachelor, he should have put these into soak. Hours of scraping to get them clean. Although at this stage, I don't think Boccherini's too worried about that.
No, he's probably not.
4 glasses. 2 of water, two of wine.
Santa Esperanza Pinot.
I've always been a whiskey man, but I know a good wine when I see one.
So there's one more clue on this table.
Leftover lasagna, and it looks good. Why is it that 2 out of 3 Italian gangsters are great cooks? I'll never understand what the deal is with them in cooking. The plates and the glasses leave no room for doubt. Boccherini had company for dinner.
So was it the person that was with him for dinner that killed him?
Shut from the inside.
Let's have a look at these new clues, see if they fit in anywhere. There was the knife. Could that have possibly been used to dig out his eyes?
Torn off its brackets and blocking the stairs.
That would be over here.
A broken whiskey glass found in the dining room.
I'm thinking maybe the person came through the window.
Pieces of glass from the window in the hall found inside the house.
And then
A door in the kitchen, locked from the inside.
no. Maybe they were having dinner.
Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware from a dinner for 2.
Again, no. Was drinking whiskey when somebody came through the
Broken
window?
whiskey glass found in the dining room. An open bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, so the whiskey did go there, but it was the bottle rather than the glass. The gun knocked out of his hand
A
to
pistol,
go
fully loaded.
under the dresser.
I'd say Boccherini was drinking in the dining room when his assailant burst in through the window. Boccherini pulled his gun, but the murderer disarmed him before he could shoot. Where did the torture begin?
Closest to the window was the watch.
A blood-stained wristwatch with the glass broken and the strap fastened.
And then from
A
there,
broken table, scratched and covered in blood.
they probably went to the table. Oh no. Oh right, this isn't in order, I don't think. I'm thinking this
What looks
glass
like the bottom of a broken glass buried in Boccherini's back.
was probably on the table.
2 pools of blood, one on either side of the dining room table. The bloodstains show that the murderer began to torture Boccherini on the dining table itself. That was where his hands were torn off. As a result, his wristwatch fell to the ground. How did the body reach its current position?
Well, that's pretty obvious. It was dragged.
The trail of blood from the dining room to the hall.
But there's one more clue. Is this it?
What looks like the bottom of a broken glass buried in Boccherini's back.
No. See, I don't see how these
A
would
broken
have
whiskey glass found in the dining room.
any
The lamp,
relevance.
torn off its brackets and blocking Boccherini, already minus hands, was dragged into the hall, where the murderer used the brackets of the lamp to complete his macabre diorama.
Ah, right, so those holes that have been stabbed through him are the brackets off the lamps. I'm still looking for what was used to pull out his eyes. Is there anything else in this room? There was another way that we could go. Let's check down here. So if the blood in there was his being dragged into this room, then what's this blood here?
Jammed shut from the inside. Maybe between the two of us when Milton gets back. If I'm not mistaken, this door opens onto the same room as the locked door in the kitchen.
So whoever he was with has locked themselves in that room is what I'm thinking. Ah. So this would be what was used to pull out his eyes.
Blood and some kind of sticky liquid.
I'm sure we know what that was. Let's have a look in here.
Oh shit. I should have stayed in my diner.
Yeah, I think you should. That is freaky as hell. Ugh. What? Really? Are we gonna have to pull all his fingers apart? So what have you got in there?
Are these teeth from the body? Well, at least I know why his teeth were pulled out, more or less.
Oh. That is some freaky shit.
What is that?
Somebody's painted
Looks
something
like a ritual. What was Boccherini mixed up in?
on the wall in Boccherini's blood. Nothing else in there.
This car looks too classy for a forger like Boccherini. Are there sufficient reasons to believe that when the murderer attacked Boccherini, there was someone else in the house? The first possibility to be ruled out is that the car belonged to Boccherini.
No, there was definitely somebody else in the house, I'm thinking.
Vermont plates. Someone drove a long way. Let's take a look in the glove compartment. Bingo. A man's cigarette case.
Maybe we can find out who was in the house with him. Is that initials?
OB. One of the Boccherini clan?
I don't think there's anything else to look at there. We have the thing that was used to pull out his eyes. I think we may have found the majority of the clues to piece this together. So let's take a look at the clue board. So go over to the bit for his eyes, and we're going to use the spoon
A teaspoon
here.
stained with blood and some kind of sticky liquid. The mixture of sticky liquid and blood can only mean one thing. The spoon was used to remove Boccarini's eyes. The mutilations and the disappearance of his eyes suggest two possible motives: psychopathy or cultist fanaticism. Which is it?
Well, this might be a clue here. Looks as though it was some sort of cultism.
Some kind of symbol drawn in blood.
And then his teeth and his hands, his teeth were clutching, his hands were clutching his teeth.
A sick altar of human flesh. Although I don't know the origin of the symbol in the bathroom and the altar of flesh and teeth, I'd say the motive was some kind of occult religion. The big question is, who did it?
So we've finished on that chain. And now we're looking to see if we can find out if there was somebody else in the house. Right, I think I'm in the wrong place here. There we go. That's what I was after. Right, we have clues to suggest that there was somebody there. We've got
Dirty plates, glasses, and silverware from a dinner for two.
We've got the dinner that was laid out for two people. Really? Oh, this is for the car. So we've got
The initials OB on a cigarette case.
that, and then we've got the
The car
registration.
with Vermont plates. 1. It has Vermont plates. 2. It's too luxurious for a criminal of his standing. 3. The initials on the cigarette case don't match his name. The next possibility that needs to be ruled out is that the car was stolen. There should be evidence that there was someone else in the house.
Yeah, so we've got the dinner that was laid out for
Plates,
two
glasses,
people.
and silverware from a dinner for two. The dirty dishes and glasses prove that Boccarini ate lasagna with one other person. Was Boccarini's guest still in the house when the murderer showed up?
I would guess so. There's the locked
A
doors.
door in the kitchen, locked from the inside. It opens onto the same room as the jammed door in the corridor.
Really? I would suggest that that means that there was somebody else in the house because they've locked themselves in that room.
A door in the corridor jammed shut. It opens on
Right.
a broken whiskey glass found in the dining room.
And then there's another
What looks
whiskey
like
glass.
the bottom of a broken glass buried in Boccarini's back. It seems clear that Boccarini and his guest were drinking when the murderer took them by surprise. The real question is, what happened to the witness? Did they escape? Did the murderer take them? Or are they still in the house?
See, my thought is that they are still in the house.
Locked from a door in the corridor jammed shut. One locked door could be a coincidence, but two locked doors which open onto the same room can't be. Either I'm completely wrong, or the witness is in that room. But I need Milton to open one of those doors.
Mr. Ness, can you open the door for me?
It was open. Why did you ring?
I thought I should use the doorbell so I wouldn't startle you.
Really?
I didn't notice there was a doorbell.
Says the man Milton had left in charge of an important investigation. So, what can you tell me to restore my faith in you as a detective?
What is that?
Not a good start. It's a camera, so Alphonse can see all this.
All right. Follow me. Boccherini had company for dinner. Someone from Vermont with the initials OB. Someone whose social status was a lot higher, but who was on the same side of the law. He served lasagna, and after clearing away the dishes, they opened a bottle of whiskey in the dining room. That was when the murderer burst in on them, coming through the window which he broke with his own body weight. Boccherini, or maybe his guest, pulled a gun, but it was a waste of time. The murderer was so fast he was disarmed before he could fire. He focused his attention on Boccherini, totally ignoring the guest, and lifted him up into the air. He then threw him against the dining room table so hard that one of the glasses of whiskey was embedded in Boccherini's back. He span around, clawing at the table, and immediately afterwards the murderer ripped off his hands. I have no idea how he did it, but all the evidence suggests he just pulled. Blood sprayed everywhere. The wristwatch fell to the ground. He dragged him through the corridor into the hall. He tore down the lamp, hung him from the brackets, and stabbed steel rods through his body. He skewered him on the iron bars, possibly taken from the fence outside, and pulled out his teeth one by one. Then he pulled his teeth out one by one as he died. Finally, he scooped out his eyes with a teaspoon. Boccherini must have been dead when the murderer went to the bathroom with his hands in his teeth. There, he arranged them to make an altar, weaving the fingers together and placing the teeth inside. Next, he painted something on the wall in blood, a symbol which I don't recognize, but which could have some kind of ritualistic significance. When he'd finished his artwork, he left. I don't know what he did with the eyes.
You're telling me that someone did all this armed with a teaspoon?
More or less.
And you worked all this out on your own, just by looking?
More or less.
I don't know which of the two of you scares me more. Wait a second. What about the guest?
Right. Come with me.